Welcome to the series of Microsoft Access for historians. In this new video, we continue with select queries. If you remember, we create them by going to Query Design, selecting the table that we want to use, and then just adding some fields that we want to have a look. So in this case, let's put this to be. This is what we get. So we've already known how to do criteria, and the one thing that I didn't tell you in the previous videos is how to save it. So we can just save it and call it query 1. So it is important that you name the queries appropriately, so you know in the order that you've done them. So just explore the data, for instance, and then you can have access to it. So the thing with this is just fantastic because you have the query that is the instructions. I want to see this, and this criteria. And as it doesn't contain information, every time that you add new records to the table, the content of the query is updated. So you type 100 records. You do this query to explore your data, and you see something. You add another 100 records, and then the same query allows you to do exactly the same thing, which is fantastic. One of the things that we can do with that, so let me just close it. And then when you open it, that we see as well with the table, but the visual table, but this is the query. A good thing that we can do, that it can help us to keep track of how we're typing, is to have a little bit of a look at the totals. And a total is a very interesting thing to do, so just let's make for a second, just eliminate those. And then mark here totals. So see that appears a new one, there's a new field says group by, and then what I want to do is just see how many men and women do I have in my table. So the first one, I generally use the same variable, but you need to use just some variable for counting, which has information complete in all the records. So one of them says group by, the other one says count, and see what we get. So we just get a very, very small view of what we have in our table. We have sex, 3 different options, male, female, and unknown, and then the number of cases on each of them. I could do exactly the same thing. So instead of doing sex, I can do religion, and say that I'm not going to change sex, because that's only used for counting. So each time that the variable sex is completed, it doesn't matter what it needs to have inside, then we're going to count it. And then see, this is what we get. Again, we go to 250,000 people and we have mostly Lutherans. A fun thing to do here is that actually I could do. So I'm just going to move it here, and I'm going to say group by and group by. So what I'm saying is I group religion by the groups, and then group those by sex. Then see what we get. So we get a little bit of a higher number, because now I'm seeing all the female Baptists, all the male Baptists, all the female Catholic Apostolic, all the male. Here we could express it in a nicer way. So let's see. So we have first all the females with all the religion, and all the males with all the religions. And I'm just counting them. Why would I care to do that? There's other ways of doing the analysis in a much nicer way, but this is, for instance, you're typing. And then you want to know what is the information that you are putting in sex. Sometimes when it makes mistakes, so that you're instead of putting male, you put ML or mal or something like that. So just by having a very small query that says, what is the frequency of sex, you can keep track of what you're doing. And with every time that you type something more, you see if you've made mistakes and then how your data is showing up. So imagine that that's what we wanted to do, so we just take a religion. We say, okay, this is what we want to know, how many men and women. And then, rather than having explored data as the title, that should be something different. So we should just save it as something else. Save object as. Save as. And then instead of being copy of men, so I would say that what this reflects is the frequency by sex. See, this is what it is. Now we have a new one, have field 1 over the other. So whenever I put more information, I can go to my table and say, okay, frequency by sex, okay, we'll have more men, more women, and I can keep track of what they do. So you can have queries on sex and religion and other things to see how you're typing. And that's the value of totals. So you could also do other things like computing average, minimums, and maximums, but for now we're just gonna stay with count, just to see how many of each we have in each way. And it can be stored.